Alright guys, so we've got some interesting news to talk about Eizen and Gin, of course. We have a little information about what the characters are doing. More so for Gin, we do have well, I guess a brief idea on how Eizen's going to be working. And it seems that there's a bit of a theme going on, because it's kind of done in a similar fashion as in Rukia, of course, so we'll look into that in just a second. But one thing to talk about is this mode in particular. Now, obviously, with the game itself, we'll always and we will happily accept any type of quality of life updates. Now, what if I told you that there could potentially be a quality of life update for this specific mode, right? This is where we go farm our stamps. Now, it's pretty brutal. Now, well, first and foremost, it's very generous of them to firstly give us, the stamp cards for free, because if you guys don't know, back in the day, during the alpha days and whatnot, as well as the beta, like the initial betas, stamp cards were summonable. Yeah, imagine that. Weapon cards, stamp cards, character cards, all summonable. Woo. So it's a lot on our plate. But obviously eventually they changed it to make stamp cards a farmable card that we can apply onto our characters. Now, the only issue that we technically have with this mode is it's RNG. That's it, I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I'm really trying my best to farm my boy Ichigo, because I'm trying to get him completely max, because that's the only thing that I'm really just lacking in, that stamp card. And for whatever reason, my Yoruichi is one away from being finished, and I'm just like, bruh, I'm pulling everything but what I'm trying to get, and which is annoying, but at the end of the day, that's the RNG play, and that's the difficulty that they've applied to this. And so what the quality of life update is that what if there is a guaranteed? What if you do a certain amount, and then at a certain, or at a key point, you are then guaranteed to select the dupe that you want. Now, realistically, the only other way you guys can select whichever card that you want is from the Battlefield? No, Battle Pass. There we go. Battlefield. No, that's the game. It's from the Battle Pass. And obviously, Battle Pass, you gotta pay, right? And it's one time per it resetting, so, it's not exactly too great. But in terms of selecting a stamp card, it's, one per Battle Pass that is selective. So Kaku actually made this post right here. Pretty much, as we read it, an experience system in the stamp corridor. After reaching 100% pity for the third time in this content, we can receive additional experience with a limit of 4,000 experience points per week. Every 4 to 5 pity cycles, a selective shadow box 4 should be granted in our box. So, okay, so it says 4 cycles. So, essentially, what this is saying is every week, as we're farming the stamp cards away, once you get to the 4th pity, I think that's what it's saying, the 4th pity, that's when we can selectively choose our stamp card. I think it might be pushed down to 3. But we'll just kind of go off from what we're seeing right now. I think that'll be a much better way to go about handling this, because again, I'm sure we've grinded this out, we've had multiple runs, and I'm sure some of you guys are still waiting on certain stamp cards that you guys are wanting, or maybe to even dupe out certain stamp cards, right? We've all been in that situation. It's getting to the point where I'm starting to get annoyed because I'm pulling everything but the stamp cards that I want. So that's the annoying part of it. So as much as it's fantastic to have free stamp cards, I'm not going to deny that, it's a bit of a ball ache when it's all in when it's all RNG. So yeah, when it comes to a quality of life update, this is something which I believe is being looked into. So I think this is to me, this is a massive W. This is a massive W, because look, at the end of the day, you're still putting in that RNG play, which is fair enough. That's exactly what they wanted at the very beginning, right? Puts a little bit more grind into it. Fair play. I see what the developers are doing, but to have that little safety net in the middle of it, I think that's a huge move, especially for us, the players. So I'm for this. I am for this. So I do hope that with the cycles, they push it down to 3 and not 4. Because 4 is still a lot, and again, it's per week, by the way, so it resets every week. So yeah, hopefully they push it down to 3, or maybe even 2. No, that'd make life a little easier. But I think 3 is, in my opinion, kind of like the point. So yeah, that's a bit of a quality of life update. Hopefully they look into that and push that out ASAP. So without further ado, information about Gin and Eizen. So when it comes to Gin, he will have 2 basic attack, 4 technique skills, and 2 special attacks. Apparently this is in similar fashion to Urahara in terms of charging up. Yeah, so his technique skill will be charged to stack technique points multiple times and do more damage. So when you do, what was it? Is it Urahara's skill? He has those 2 technique points built up. Launch those out, then obviously gives him, practically gives this his ultimate on the 2nd rotation. So apparently it's going to be done in in a similar fashion, right? And then Eizen will have 2 technique skills and 3 battlefield skills. Now, I'm not going to lie, when I first saw 3 battlefield skills, I was like, oh my god, the game just come out and they're doing some crazy stuff. And then obviously going back into the game itself that we currently have, Rukia also technically has 3 stages on her battlefield skills. So I assume like 90% that's what they're talking about, because if he's got 3 different battlefield skills, Jesus Christ, what on God's green earth is happening? But this is one thing which was spoken of during the beta days, where people gave feedback to say, look, these characters are very simple, right? There's not really much going on. Can we add more skills in? And obviously those that have played One Piece Fighting Path and whatnot know that at the very beginning it was very basic, and then as time went on it got very, very in-depth with characters combination, with what you could do. And so that's kind of why I was kind of like, I see what everyone is saying, but just hold on. And it seems that the developers are already in their bag by the looks of it. Gin is definitely going to be stacking up a little bit more. Now, we do have a little bit more information on Gin himself. To get a little bit of a rough idea on how Gin is working, this actually puts him in such a good position right now, because as an attacker, bro, he sounds like he's going to be disgusting. I'm not going to lie. And this is just from his weapon card right now, right? So a singular weapon card of his, when Impel is triggered, which is obviously, as we all know, is the DOT play that he'll be applying. So once Impel is triggered a certain number of times, Gin gains the following buffs. So if it's triggered once, then your technique deals 12.5 more damage for 15 seconds, and that could be stacked up to 3 times. Now keep in mind, this is level 1. 12.5% off level 1, stackable 3 times. Okay, and then once you trigger it 2 times, you get a 15% critical rate increase. Unfortunately, that's not stackable, but it's on for 20 seconds. God damn it. If you trigger it 3 times, you Gin can actively counter once dealing damage equal to 750% of the attack, inflicting 40 impel scales and gaining 2 technique points. So I assume that's going to be, with those technique points, that's going to be a continuation, right? Gin's attack inflicts impel scales at a 25% higher rate. What? Wait, what? Gin's attack inflicts impel scales at a 25 higher rate. Jesus. So, oh wait, is this level? Okay, let's have a look. Oh my god. When impel is triggered a certain number of times, Gin gains full buff. So, okay, so 25%. That's max 3 times. Jesus Christ, so that's 75% increase in technique damage. Crit rate goes to 30%. That's pretty fair. And then 1500, inflicting 40. But does this? Oh yeah, it keeps at 40. Okay, and you still gain 200. Sorry, 2 technique points. Gin's attack inflict impel scales at a 50% higher rate. Oh my god. Jesus Christ, what am I reading right now? His weapon card is disgusting with what it's applying. I'm definitely going to be... Oh my god, I really want to juice that out now. I really want to kind of commit to this. God damn it. Well, to be fair, this is why I said in the video talking about Gin and whatnot, you know, how like, okay, yeah, the thrust team with where they're at, look, Gin might be the one that's going to be probably skippable. But obviously with the little to no information that we have, and now that we've got some form of information, yeah, his DOT play is looking disgustingly OP. I'm not gonna lie, it looks very disgustingly OP. There's a lot going on. The DOT play looks very, very consistent. As we're applying that, as we're triggering all, buffs are being applied, and the buff percentages on what we can actually dish out is insane in my opinion. And of course, you've got to keep in mind, you know, the all-round support push that we can have now with Urahara or even Rangoku, of course. So that's going to be very interesting to see what Rangoku's kit is doing, because she might be more optimal for the mono yellow team over Urahara. Who knows? But we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, in terms of skills, there's a lot on the table for Gin on what he'll be doing, but again, as I've stated, it's more on the line of how Urahara works in terms of the additional points that he can rack up, which then correlates into kind of additional attacks, which then ultimate charges his ultimate or special attack, as you call it what you will, pretty much in the second rotation. He's got 2 special skills, so yeah, that's going to be interesting. And then Eizen, we're still kind of waiting on info about this man. I really need to know what we're working here with Eizen, of course, because again, it's more so on building that spirit. But anyway, guys, I will call it there. So that's a little bit of insight news on the characters releasing in December and in the new year. Toshiro is releasing in a couple of days' time, so be prepared on that. I believe his kit and all that have come out, and it's practically the same, nothing changes. So I've already gone over him, I've already dropped a video, and it's basically, yeah, with what I've spoken about, that's basically his kit. So yeah, so we'll get Toshiro in, and then we'll move on and be preparing for Thrust. Gin looks promising to all those Gin fans out there. He looks like an absolute beast character. I'm very eager to see his kit. That weapon card sounds ridiculous.